Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this sad Bally Circus pinball machine. It's so depressed, it won't play right. Somebody broke into it at some point. We did a couple videos on it. So on the first one, we kind of got it to play. And then on the second one, we worked on the playfield. Cleaned it all up, touched up some paint, got it looking good. Worked on the bottom of the playfield, worked on the bonus unit, worked on some of the light bulbs, etc., etc., etc. You get my drift. And everything seemed cool. But then whenever the ball went down and it was supposed to collect the bonus, guess what happened? It didn't do nothing. Didn't collect the bonus. But that's because we haven't cleaned all kinds of stuff. So this whole bottom of the cabinet is full of relays. We haven't touched any of them. My suspicion is that it's the ball, the bonus unit 0 relay, which is the second one from the end back there. And so we're going to look at that and see how it looks. We're going to clean up the bottom of this cabinet a little bit, and then we're going to clean all of these switches. Look at all of this. Quite a few of them. We also need to clean the Jones plugs where they plug into the bottom board there, the mechanism board. So all of this stuff just needs to be serviced. It's been a long time, I think. I don't know if it's ever been completely cleaned. The thing was apparently worked on about 25 years ago because there's a receipt. So we'll see. So the first thing I'm going to do, just to make it a little easier to access the bottom of the cabinet, is I'm just going to remove the playfield. So you unplug the Jones plugs back there, you can lift the whole thing out of the cabinet. So we'll do that. So here it is with no playfield. Playfield is over there. It's safe. I vacuumed it out. I found nothing of note in it. There was some broken glass that had like some colored artwork on it that was red and blue, and I thought, maybe they broke their original Circus back glass and this is a replacement Circus back glass. But then I found a couple other little pieces, and they had a little edge of it that was mirrored. So it had it was an actual mirror, like a little tiny, just a little piece of broken glass that was mirrored. And nothing on this back glass is mirrored. So it must have not been a back glass that was replaced. And there wasn't enough of it either. It must have been something smaller. It might have been one of those cool rock and roll mirror things that you won at the carnival back in the day. That's right. This thing was probably down at the beach or something. It was probably in an arcade at the beach, and if you knocked over the little freaking cats with a baseball, you won one of those little mirror things, and it probably said "Kiss" on it or something. And then somehow they got it inside the machine. That's probably what happened. So I checked this bonus 0 unit, and I'll be darned, it did seem like that's the switch right there. Yeah, see, we're having some. Let's test it again. Okay, let's see if I can do this without jiggling the camera too much. See, those are not touching. Those are touching. It's just close, people. There's not much throw on these smaller relays. I think I've got it right. It ain't moving that far. I think it's good. We'll see. So that one looked a little suspect, a little sus, like the kids say. Ball index. This one. This is the other one that appears to be involved. And so there is a make or break switch here. And if that switch was not touching that blade, it would cause the problem that we have. So I cleaned it up. Well, look at this one. just very tight tolerances on these little tiny freaking Bally relays from this era. Okay, so we're just going to have to play it and see, and we might have to go in and make some little adjustments, but they're all clean now, alright? So I cleaned all of those. I did find on the lock relay, which is this one that's burnt all up, the two middle switches were stuck together. Always. But they probably did that on purpose. That might have been like the lights or something. But two of the switches on the lock relay were permanently shut. I will open them to make them do their normal play, their normal thing. The game over relay didn't seem to have any problems. These relays back here didn't seem to have any problems. And then the score motor switches, I cleaned all of them. And so I use a little blade, like a little file, needle file, to clean those contacts. That takes forever. And like usual, the top switch there on the front was all bent up, so I got it bent back straight. So there were a few little things. I don't know how much that would have affected everything because they were all close. There were none that seemed like they were definitely messed up. It's kind of like how I was just looking at that one, and you're looking at it like, is it messed up or is it touching? You know, it's kind of hard to tell. You can't tell for sure, so I can't tell for sure if I fixed anything. And then these two stepper units, the coin unit and the what is the other one? I can't remember which one is that. You know, I work on these all the time. You'd think I would remember. So that one's the coin unit. What is this? The ball unit, maybe. I don't remember. Well, I don't remember. Well, anyway, these two steppers, I cleaned them all up. Put a little bit of the synthetic grease on it. They were working fine. They were just a little dirty. So everything seems cool. So I think we're kind of done in the bottom. We're ready to test play it again and see if that fixed our problem where it would not count the bonus at the end of the game, or if we need to go hunting through the schematics and find exactly what switch it is. Okay, let's see if it plays any better than it did that last time. The ball has been ejected. Ejection happened. Now it's really flat because we haven't messed with the leg levelers yet. Need to do that next. Also, I have refused to put the wrong pop bumper caps on it. Okay, so it gave us our 1,000 points and it counted it down. But the problem we had last time was we had it built all the way up. I might have to cheat a late. I'm trying to invent new words. Bonus worked that time. So it should work no matter where. The way, you know, we looked up the schematics, how it works on the previous video that some of y'all didn't see. I don't know what you're waiting on. But we looked up the schematics and, or that area of the schematics, and basically it works the same if it's not on 0. So if there's any light lit up at all on the bonus unit, if you're up to 19 and it doesn't count down, that has nothing to do with whether you're on 1 or 19. Okay, so this is interesting. I've been poring over the schematics, and there's all kinds of interesting stuff that you see in this game versus this game, or how Bally did it versus how Gottlieb did it versus how Williams did it. So one of the things that Bally did, and I've seen this on other games too, is the only way to get double bonus is you just automatically get it on ball 3 and ball 5. There's no way to score it. Doesn't matter what you do. Which is kind of interesting, I think. You'd think there'd be some way to actually achieve it, but nope. And I confirmed it. Schematics. I looked in the schematics. So we still got that pop. Ooh, got a little machine gunning there. And we're not even close to level. So we got our da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. Was I at 2? All right, so we're at ball number 4. We probably ought to do it on this one, folks. This ought to be the one, because the second time it's going to do that double bonus thing. Oh, I didn't light these yet. And our 10,000 light seems to be a little flaky. Something went on there too, that wasn't right. So the way you light the extra ball is basically once you get up to a certain point, it lights that. You see how that wasn't quite right. Something going on there. We still got to look at that, right? But we got our special when lit. It's not working quite right though. Basically, if you keep getting bonuses, and this is a game too, that you're not really going to be getting bonuses with precision. Like, I mean, hitting them with precision. These are rollover switches, so whenever you make that shot, you're going to hit 3 different switches, so you might get three steps up, right? So it's not like there's a target right here that you hit, and if you're good enough, you can hit that thing 1,000 times. And you also get bonuses, like if you do some of these rollovers and things like that. So anyway, when we got up to 1900, it should have lit those, but it didn't. And then I hit it again and it lit them. So, you know, it's a little touchy. I'm going to have to keep watching that. That problem's probably on the bonus unit. It's probably still something to do with dirty contacts or something. Okay, so whenever I hit this switch, I don't really need the ball to do it, but, you know. When I hit that switch, it should give us 19,000 points. So that's what I was attempting to do at the end of the previous video. 13,900 points is what we have now. So that should get us up to, if my math is correct, 32,900 points. Okay, so the special gave us the same player shoots again. I guess I did need the ball to count the bonus. Oh man, look. Look what happened. I got 33,900 points. What in the world? What happened, folks? Did you see the extra 1,000 points? I'm going to start doing like mysteries in all of these. Well, I saw the extra 1,000 points. It was when I hit this switch. Come on, people. Come on now. It says, people. It says it. Here, I'll get you closer so you can see. I hit the switch. People, I hit the switch and it gave me 1,000 points. So, 33,900 points. All right, so it's playing pretty good, but you know what? We haven't done anything in the back box yet. So I got to watch the stepping up of the ball bonus unit. And we need to clean up some of the stuff in the back box. So let's do that. Now, I had a person email me the other day. Or it may have been on YouTube. I don't know. It all runs together, folks. Someone contacted me. And he was asking me if... he said he had a pinball machine that's playing well. It may be a Bally Circus, actually. I can't remember which one he said it was. But he said he had a pinball machine that was playing well. And he wanted to know if I thought he should go through it and clean all the switches. So I emailed him back and let him know, no, you do not have to clean all the switches because they're self-cleaning. If you get them adjusted right, you saw how they like the big blade makes the little blade move a little bit. Well, that wipes the contact faces together. And in theory, they clean themselves. So the best thing you can do to keep your EM pinball machine in tip-top, big top shape is play it every once in a while. Now that doesn't work if the thing's broke. Because if you hit start and the score motor just goes click, 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 and just keeps turning and nothing happens, it's probably turning on a relay somewhere and one of the switches isn't touching, or the switch on the score motor isn't touching. So no matter how much you play it, it's not going to work. And so none of those relays are ever going to turn on. So they'll never clean themselves because the thing's not working. So you have to go through and clean them all, right? You could go, I guess you could try to go through and, like we've done before in videos, and try to just pick out the thing that's misadjusted or dirty and not clean all of them, and then hope that once you get it up and running that they'll all clean themselves. But if you have a working game and you play it once a week or two, the thing will keep itself clean. So that's the beauty of these things. All right, so I'll pull it back away from the wall, and we'll work in the back box a little bit and clean up some of that. And then we'll test all of the scoring and make sure that everything is scoring its 10 points, its 100 points, its 1,000 points. And we still have to talk about the pop bumper cap fiasco. Glunk, glunk, glunk. There is something horrible going on with the pop bumper caps on this game. It's a worldwide problem, folks. They're suffering from this everywhere. The fine folks in Australia at the Goat Shed, EM Pinball Repair Palace, even they're suffering from it, right? We all have this problem right now, and it involves this one machine. I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a little bit. So here is the back of the machine. So we've got 10-point relay, 100-point relay, 1,000-point relay, number 1 score reset, and number 2 score reset. So those are easy to clean. Just use a little flat file, get the switches nice and clean. We've got the coin unit here, the replay unit. Well, they don't call it coin unit. I think it's the replay unit, right? Credit wheel, etc., etc. I wonder if they have put it on free play. I've been filming this video for a while. Maybe I put it on free play and don't even remember. That could be. I don't know. How did they free it? How has our free play been achieved? I'm not sure. So basically, when this goes around, if that hits that and opens it, it makes it where you can't play it anymore. It's out of credits. So we got that. You know, it's on like 0 right now. Oh yeah, it's that other one. See, there's another pin there. I think they've bent the switch up out of the way so that can't possibly hit it. Let's see. Yeah. So we're reset all the way and it can't open that switch. So that's how it's on free play. If you add a credit, it's this one. That's how that goes the other way. So when you get back to 0, the switch is bent up out of the way where it can't be opened. So that's how they put it on free play. Okay, we got 16 score reels. We'll have to play a 4-player game to make sure they all work. We have these 400,000 point relays up here. When you get 100,000 points, those pop on and it turns on a little light on the front so that you can tell that player has 100,000 points. And then this is the 0 to 90 unit. It does look a little dirty, the rivets. But these 0 to 90 units, they just spin in one direction. So every time this coil pulls in, just like that one, every time that coil pulls in, it advances it one position. And this particular design, it just keeps going. All of that is moving very freely. It just needs cleaned up. Okay, and then over here you have the player up unit. So this needs to work pretty good because it basically is what decides if you're on player 1, player 2, player 3, or player 4, and then it resets back to 1. Or if you're playing a 2-player game, it'll do 1, 2, and then reset back to 1. So you got to make sure it can do all of that. But all of these little traces need to be cleaned. So the way I clean them, I polish them up with a little bit of fine sandpaper. And then I put a little bit of synthetic grease on it, and it's good to go. So I think I'll clean those up first. I've also got these Jones plugs down here. Where'd the light go? Where did the light go, people? So I've got these Jones plugs down here. That you have to clean up too. I've already cleaned these up. This particular one over here is broken, but it didn't hurt anything because you can just plug it back in. It was missing 2 screws to hold the top of this in, so I don't know what happened there, but I found 2 screws and popped them in. So I got the Jones plugs all cleaned up. And the reason that that's a big deal is because it breaks the circuit, a lot of the circuits. I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20, 40. You're looking at like 55 wires here that connect to something in the head and then back down on the mech board. And if those connections are dirty, basically the electricity can't get through it. There's too much resistance, and something won't work. So you got to get those clean. And you got the same thing going on basically with these rivets. If they're too dirty, power is not going to go through the contact to the rivet, because it all works on voltage. All right, so I'm going to start cleaning some stuff. If I run into anything interesting, I will let you know. Okay, so I cleaned the stuff back there, but it was already working, so I mean, relays, all that. It was already working, so it didn't improve anything. It was everything's already working. So I gotta tell you what I was talking about with the pop bumpers. This game has an interesting little thing going on. So they make these pop bumper caps that are just little plastic caps. Now, there's two types. Well, there's a bunch of types, but for these Ballys, there's two types at least on this machine. Well, if I can get it back off. If I break that one, it's going to be a travesty. It came off. So this is the older type, and it just kind of snaps on there. This is a dead bumper. It's not a pop bumper. This one, the ball rolls up on the skirt, the little coil pulls down a ring that kicks the ball away and pops it, thumps it, right? This one doesn't have that. There's a little rubber ring in there that the ball just bumps off of. So they call that a dead bumper. So the problem is, this is the wrong cap. If you look real close, at one point this said 50 on it. So I looked it up. The green 100 points when lit appears to be correct. Should it say when lit though? Let's look. Okay, so if you're ever curious about anything like this, go to the ipdb.org, Internet Pinball Database.org, ipdb.org. And they have information about every pinball machine. You just type in the name of it. So this is the flyer from the original when it first came out. And it does say 100 points when lit, but I think it's always lit. I don't know. Let me look on the schematics. But while we do that, look at the red bumper on the left says 1,000 points when lit. And the right bumper says 1,000 points when lit. Yeah, so strangely enough, the light is always on. It's just wired into the general illumination. And here is the, see the thumper bumper relay? It only can connect to the 100-point relay. It can't give you 1,000 points. So that's kind of strange. But you see on the factory flyer, it says that. All right. So the place to get pinball pop bumper caps is the Pinball Resource. pbresource.com. Okay, so read this here. Caps for pop bumpers, jet bumpers, thumper bumpers, and parts. All of our caps are hot stamped, unless otherwise noted, and are either new old stock or are replacement parts, hot stamped with the original tooling and dies whenever possible. These replacement parts are hot stamped in methods faithful to the original factory parts, done to meet or exceed the original specifications. Okay. A good way to check if your caps are correct, not always 100% accurate, is to look at the game flyer for your machine. Yeah. You can view the flyers online. Okay, so we just looked at the flyer, and since we've got 2 of the 3 original caps, I'm pretty confident that those are original. Now, the difference between these sunburst ones, like this that's in the middle, and the other ones, is that the sunburst ones have 2 little screws in them that you attach to the thumper bumper base. But the dead pop bumper base doesn't have a provision for screws. So the cap is different. It just snaps on there. It's the older style. So they at Pinball Resource, they sell all of these. Now, the reason I'm showing you them in particular is because, as far as I'm aware, they make more pop bumper caps than anybody, and they literally have them made themselves, you know. So here's like 100 points when lit. This is a another thing is the color of the text changes too. So here they have it in red, here they have it in blue. Let's go back and see what ours is supposed to be. Oop, that's the wrong one. That's not our game. Why did y'all click that? What are you doing? What in the world? What in the world? We're going back, folks. Don't worry about it. We about got it. Okay. Everybody calm down. Okay. So originally it looks like it was a green. Remember on the first video I said I thought that was weird that they used green. But it's a green one with red lettering. Okay. 100 points when lit. So if I want that one, well, if I can... Oh no, we got to go all the way back to the Pinball Resource. Okay, let's do it. Pinball Resource. Playfield parts. Pop bumper caps. Okay, that wasn't too hard. So we want 100 points when lit. And so they make them, look at all the different ways they make them. In gold, so that's the text, right? We want in red. Look, you can do it in blue squiggle. 100 points when lit in red, and then the sun colors are red, blue, green, or yellow. That's the exact one that's on the machine in the middle. And so at the Pinball Resource, they're $6. Okay. So they have that one, but here's the problem. Those other ones are 1,000 when lit, but they're on the old style bumper. So there weren't any games back in the day that you could score 1,000 points on when it lit up back that far to use the old bumpers. So see this blue one here that says 50? That's the one that's on ours that's the wrong one. And see how it says slant top? That's the ones that are on ours. And they call it deco because it has this kind of art deco look to it. So there's some that are 50 points. Let's find the other deco ones. So here's some that have a domed top. These are on Gottlieb games. They're a little different. Okay, here we are with the deco. Look, here's one that's 50,000 points. Oh, it's domed instead of slant top. See the dome top? So there's just all kinds of different ones. Dome top, dome top, dome top, dome, 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 dome. Sounds like Space Invaders. Dome, 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 dome. Okay, so here we are back at the slant top ones. So they have a blank slant top. They've got it yellow, white, purple, red, green, or blue. We need orange. So that won't work, and it doesn't have the right text on it. Here's 10 points. Here's 10 points when lit. 10 or 100 points when lit. 1 point, 5 points, 50 points, 100 points, 5 points, 50 points in spin, 5, advance when lit, A, and that's it. So they don't have one that says 1,000 when lit because there was probably only 1 or 2 games that ever used that because it doesn't make much sense for it to have the old top and a dead bumper on a machine that's going to give you 1,000 points on the pop bumpers. So this was 1973, and so there was probably just 1 or 2 machines like this. So we have found a pop bumper cap that's fallen through the hole, and no one has made a replacement for it yet. And I didn't just check Pinball Resource, I checked 2 or 3 other places as well. Pinball Resource, no offense to any of the other places, I buy from a lot of the other places too, but the Pinball Resource, I just like the way they do business, and in my opinion, they've got more on the EM machines. They've got more parts than anybody else. But they don't have that pop bumper cap. So that's why I got a blue pop bumper cap on the playfield, people. Don't worry about it. All right, folks. In general, it's working, but sometimes it won't kick the ball out. So we got to figure that out. That can't stand. So let's see, it's in game over now. Let's see if we can get it to mess up, and then that'll help us fix it. Guess what, we're out of credits. Let's see if it'll coin up. I thought we put it on free play, didn't we? Alright, that got us up to 1 credit. Now let's see if it'll do it. Ah, okay, well good. I wanted it to be broke. I wanted it to do that, folks. When you're repairing stuff, you don't want intermittent problems. You want something to be broke as hell. Much easier to fix. So this one will not start, and it's not kicking the ball out. Earlier, I was playing it, and the ball would drain, and then nothing would happen. So something's going on with that. So we got to figure that out. So I'm glad that it's hella broke. So we should be, now that we've cleaned everything, we should be down to like 1 switch somewhere. Okay, so we're looking at the schematics. Now we've got several clues here that we just saw. If you got to break it down to crayons and construction paper and check out what we know to be a fact. We know that the machine's all lit up and it has power. We know that whenever I hit the coin switch, we heard the knocker go off. But nothing else happened. It didn't start or anything like that, right? So see this credit unit step-up solenoid? Or let's look at the knocker. So the knocker solenoid there in the middle. The only way that knocker solenoid goes off is if the credit unit end of stroke switch gets connected. So the way that happens is the credit unit moves. It steps up, and the back of the little arm hits that step-up solenoid, which makes the whole disc move up 1. That's how the wheel turned to 1. And when it did that, you saw this end of stroke switch hit it, it connected, or you heard it, and it turned on the knocker. So we know that that is working. Now the only way that the credit unit step-up solenoid could have worked when we hit the coin switch, there's a way for it to match, and then this goes off to the high score thing and everything. But the only way for that to go up is if the second coin chute relay pulled in or the third coin chute relay pulled in. And then also the score motor would have to turn. So you see this switch on the score motor here. So that's the only way that you're going to get that to work. Okay, so our game is not resetting, which is what it should be doing to start a game. The reset relay should pull in. So the reset relay, the only way it's going to get power, well, there's a couple ways, I suppose. Let me make sure that I don't have... yeah, the only way it's going to get power. The absolute only way the reset relay can come on is if the coin relay comes on, because it can't turn itself on. So the coin relay has to come on. And if the coin relay switch closes, then you have to be, the game over relay has to be closed for it to reset everything. And it just has some convoluted ways that it can get power up to that. But basically all we need to know is the coin relay has to pull in to reset the game. So apparently our coin relay is not pulling in. So how does the coin relay pull in? So the coin relay, the only way it can pull in is either through, if the second coin switch is directly connected to it, depending on how this jumper is, or if the credit relay pulls in, it will connect power to the coin relay and pull the coin relay in. Okay, so how does the credit relay pull in? See the switch, the power coming down through here, right? So how does the credit relay pull in? Well, the credit relay can be pulled in by the game over relay. It'll be held in by the game over relay. The ball count unit 0 switch, the player up unit 0 switch, the coin unit limit switch, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, the only way that the credit relay can get power is if you press the credit button. There's no other way for it to get power. Once you do that, it can hold itself on through this, but it can't turn itself on. So we're hitting this button and nothing is happening. So that's our problem. So we've got some kind of problem in this line. Now, here is the score motor. It's turning whenever you give it a coin. So if you look inside of it, the second coin chute relay or the third coin chute relay, whichever one you hit, the first coin chute isn't doing anything. There isn't one. So the second, and there's different doors on these. So you might have one that's got one setup, you might have one that's got another setup. But on ours, if I hit a switch, one of them turns the second coin chute relay on, and the other one turns the third coin chute relay on. Well, whenever that happens, the score motor starts turning. Okay. Well, the only way it can get power to do that, if you look, now we're not talking about the out hole relay or the bonus score relay or the 500-point relay. The only way it gets power through those is through this connection here, which goes through the two coin switches to make sure that they have closed again. So if you hold the coins, if the coin switch is stuck down, it will cause you all kinds of problems because it breaks this power line here and the score motor can't start and the game can't reset and all of that. So if you've got reset problems, make sure that the coin switches aren't stuck down. But ours must not be because power is going through there, through here, and turning on the score motor. Right? So the score motor starts turning, and it starts opening all of these switches. So eventually it opens the switch that's holding on either the second coin chute or the third coin chute. Right? And they've got little wires here where it's held on through here, it's held on through here. But as the score motor turns, eventually it's going to open up that switch, turn off that relay, which opens this switch back up so that the score motor no longer has power. The score motor gets back to its home position. That opens and the score motor stops at home. Again and again and again and again. Right? So that's working perfect. All of that is working fine. Well, how come our credit button is not working? Well, since that's the only way to start a game, it makes sense that it could be this switch. We know up to here is good, right? It could be this switch is messed up. It could be this switch on the reset relay. It could be the switch on the credit unit 0 switch. That's the one that was connected together, and I was trying to figure out if it opens. And then if the ball count unit is not at 0, that switch should be closed. Or the game over relay, if it's on, that switch should be closed. If the player up unit 0 is not at 0, that should be closed. Or if the coin unit limit switch is not open, if we're not all the way up to 15, that should still be closed. So just pressing start should start it. So we've got one of these switches messed up. So that's where we're going to look, and I'll see if I can find one that's not quite right. The first one I'm going to mess with, since we were just back there looking at it, is the credit unit 0 switch. If that switch was open, the start button wouldn't do anything. The problem is the motor switch, 1D. It's the top one there. So this is the first switch stack on the motor. The bottom set of switches is A. The next set of switches is B. The next set of switches is C. The next set of switches is D. So I was saying earlier that we knew that worked. We do not know that works because it had another path to turn on the coin relay. So to turn on the score motor, so basically this is the home switch for the score motor. So when this turns, as soon as the score motor starts, the machine's off right now. It connects this blade to this top blade. And then as long as that's connected, the score motor will continue to turn. And then when it gets back, it falls off that. Okay? But if you look to where it falls, the make or break action there, ooh, we're right on the edge of going blurry. So this top blade, look at the blade below it. It's touching, but just barely. So what's happening is, when this score motor turns around, sometimes when it gets back to that, it touches that blade. and everything works fine. And sometimes it almost touches us, but not quite. And whenever that happens, you have problems because it breaks that connection. I'll show you on the schematics again. So here is that area of the schematics that we were just looking at. So we need to get the credit relay to pull in when we hit the credit button. So the way it gets its power is through this switch. This is the switch we were just looking at. So I was thinking that these were on this side, but they're not really. They're on this side. So when the second coin or third coin relay pulls in, you don't need that switch to get power over to the score motor. But if all that switch does is allow the credit relay to come on. So that's most certainly our problem. So I just need to clean that switch a little bit and make sure that it's making good contact whenever it gets back to home position. And that should fix our starting thing. Now I saw it the other day do a thing where at the end of the ball it wouldn't go, it wouldn't advance. So we need to play it some and see if it does that again. And once it gets to that condition, maybe see if we can tell what in the world's going on. All right. See, I'm going to show you one of the coolest parts of working on them. I hate working on the score reels. It's just so boring. You know me, I don't like to be boring. So you got to go through and clean each reel. So I did that, and then you got to clean the switches, and I've showed that on like 100 videos. So what I like to do is, once I get that done, as I do each reel, I leave it on like a number other than 0. So it has to reset whenever you start. So we're going to turn it on, and you can see this machine, this electromechanical goodness, attempt to reset all 16 score reels at the same time. So what do you think? Is it going to be able to do it? And this will tell you if you've got a problem with one of the reels. If you leave it on 0, well, it might work, it might not. But if you leave it on 1 and then you hit start, they all got to get back to 0, and it's a long way around from 1. Beautiful. I think it's working pretty good. Now let's play it. Okay, folks, we're going to try it out a little bit. There was a problem where the legs were really loose. It was because all 8 of the bolts were stripped out somehow. It wasn't the leg plates, it was the actual bolts, so that's kind of weird. So I fixed that. I adjusted the back leg levelers, which are kind of those little shorty ones. They're not the real long ones like on modern machines. So they're about 2-inch instead of 3-inch, or it might be 1.5 inches. I adjusted those almost all the way out just to give it a little more slope. People ask us a lot of times, what angle do we set the pinball machines at? We don't really measure it. I typically go a little higher than it's supposed to be, just because I think they play a little faster. And some people hate that. That's just how I like to do it. The good thing about something like that is you don't have to argue about it. Like if somebody doesn't like that I put it up like this, just turn the screws and put it back like that. Right? It's like the LED argument, how I don't like LEDs. If they've got LEDs and I ended up buying one of somebody's, I'd just take them all out of the sockets, throw them in the trash, and put real ones in there. So, and if you don't like my regular bulbs, you can take those out of the sockets, throw them in the trash, and put LEDs in there. And by the way, if we were working on somebody's game and they requested that we put LEDs in it, we'd of course put them in there because, it's not our machine. But anyway, so the angle is a little steeper than it was, so that's good. We're going to test play it a little bit. I'm watching light bulbs and things like that, just to see if everything seems to be working right. I got locks on it, back door on it, so it's going to be a little quieter, and the glasses on it. Well, it may be slanting a little bit to the left, so when he gets it home, he needs to probably check that, or maybe, let me see here. Looks like the right leg might be up a little higher than the left one, but that may be because of where he's got it sitting, so I'm not going to mess with it, unless it gets real bad. I got to hit the ball one time. Let's get a little action going here. What you think? It's on 5-ball, by the way. I should have. So I did double bonus just because we were on ball 3. That's the only way to start double bonus is ball 3 and ball 5 on this game. Oh, I messed myself up by doing the in lane thing. I shouldn't have done that. What was I thinking? Ball 5. Okay. Right, we got 45,300 points, so we're going to read the instructions now and see if we can increase that. Let's see if we can do better. And the match came up and lit up. That's good. Okay, it says insert coin and wait. It says wait in capital letters. For the machine to reset, insert coins for additional players. Shoot the ball to the light, left, and right bonus lanes, okay, by going through top skill lanes or hitting indicated targets. All right, so basically you need to light those up so that you can get bonus. I think that's the only way to... Oh, you advance bonus in the in lanes. And you advance bonus by those 2 yellow targets in the middle there. Okay. Advancing the bonus will light the extra ball target lights. Hitting the target when lit will score 1 extra ball. And of course you also get to advance the bonus if you roll through the top rollovers like they were saying. And then hit the rollover buttons on the left and the right at the top. Collect bonus when the ball leaves the playfield. That's pretty much it. Okay, so basically they just want you to light a bunch of bonuses. So that's what we're going to try to do. So 45,000. So I'm just going to attempt to get both of the left and the right advanced bonus lanes lit, hoping that will get us more bonus points. Nope. So we'll try to knock it all the way back up to the top. Missed. Ooh, barely saved it. Oh, come on now. Well, that outlane's dangerous over there with it slanting that way a little bit. Okay, we were unable to light the bonus lanes. There we go. Yeah! Made my little skill shot, we'll call that. So now if I can knock it up to the horseshoe around the left or the right, I will get more bonus trips up the ladder there. Nope. The pop bumper's all right too, but you know, you want to get it on the... Beat up that bank. You want it to... Oh, it didn't light the left and the right because we're on ball 3 and they're already lit. So on ball 3, you don't really need to do that. But I did it by accident. I mean, we can't act like I was doing that on purpose anyway. Oh, too much. Ooh. Missed it. Come on, baby. Oh, no. It went right back where it came from. Let's try that one more time. Nope. Boy, she plays smooth. Yeah, so notice how the pop bumpers are lit already, and the left and the right advanced bonus buttons are lit already because it's simply the 5th ball. Also, the double bonus is lit. I'd like to get up over 10,000. There we go, so we can watch that light. You remember how the light was flickering? It's more steady now, people. Rock steady, baby. Aretha Franklin knew. Come on, let's get up to that free ball. There, hey, what? Maybe one more and we get the free ball. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so we ended up with, are you ready for it? 89,940 points. That's about as good as I can get, people. I don't know what I did on the last circus we had in, but that's not bad, I don't think. So there you go. I think we're going to play it for a couple days, make sure everything's cool, and then we'll call the customer and tell him that his game is ready for him and his family to enjoy. So we will we'll slap it on the butt. So leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to check out my brother Donnie. He has a channel here on YouTube as well. The links are down below. I'm over there with him on his channel a lot. Joey and I work on arcade games, pinball machines, and jukeboxes. And my brother Donnie works on old buildings, old vehicles, things like that. So, listen to this crap. So there's a church across the street saving the world by letting homeless drug addicts sleep in front of the church all night. And so this is what we deal with all night because the church is so wonderful. They're helping us out so much. You know, unbelievable. Okay, so I guess I'm going home. You can't help people that don't want to help themselves, folks. All right, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not really in the mood to play it much longer. We'll see you on the next video. God bless America.